For those who do not know BouCHAD, you should probably watch the video in the top right corner. But for those who have seen that video and those who just don't care, welcome to the fictitious world of Crusader Kings III, a world in which destiny is subject to your own will, but also to the will of the AI, where you can shape the future into your own liking. But today, the only destiny that will emerge is that of BouCHAD, a boy who, in his second life, is right twice as much as he was previously, but he is still as beautiful, strong, and intelligent as he once was. And once again, his reign starts at the age of 0, a child with no parents, but a bright future ahead. By the 15th of September, 1066, everyone had forgotten about BouCHAD's previous reign, even though that reign was just 1 century earlier and consisted of the unrelenting conquest and execution of innocent lives. How this world could have forgotten such tyranny so quickly is a mystery. Something like that could have only been caused by someone of unnatural power. But BouCHAD starts his life just as he had done previously, only this time he is the Duke of Lombardy, a vassal under the Holy Roman Emperor. Instantly, BouCHAD makes his bishop fabricate claims on counties within Sardinia, for he has caught word of a silver mine that brings vast riches to its owner, and BouCHAD wants to be the owner of that mine. So he starts his conquest, fabricating a claim, waging a war, fabricating another claim, waging another war, over and over. And once the mine was finally in his hands, BouCHAD started making an astonishing amount of gold. This would gain him power that others so desperately seek. Throughout his childhood, BouCHAD grew more and more impatient, seeking more and more power. But something that comes as a surprise is how humble he was, a trait that is in contrast with the standard personality of those who seek power and riches. But it wasn't just his humbleness, but also his honesty that contrasted. This unlikely combination of traits led to an education that was mediocre at best, but still better than most would have had at the time. And once BouCHAD had reached the age of 16, he became a man in the eyes of the gods, allowing him to do things that would have been previously restricted. With these new talents came BouCHAD's abilities to fabricate a claim on the throne of his liege, which he started as soon as he possibly could. But something special about the HRE succession allowed any direct vassal of the liege to inherit, and that was that the succession was put to a vote. So while BouCHAD was working tirelessly to gain a claim on the throne, other vassals were being wooed to his favor, and eventually BouCHAD was leading the race for the next Holy Roman Emperor. Instead of waging a war to get his throne like he had done previously, he started a scheme to bring an untimely death to Kaiser Hendrik. But the gods must have looked fondly upon BouCHAD, for Kaiser Hendrik reached his demise before BouCHAD's plan could be put into action. Now, BouCHAD was the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, and all seemed as if it would go smoothly, but the vassals who voted him into power had different plans. They instantly turned their backs on him and joined factions to destroy his hold over their land. BouCHAD would not let these backstabbers get away with their treason. They would face the wrath of BouCHAD's sword. Fighting 3 simultaneous wars was not an easy task, but somehow BouCHAD pulled it off. He brought order to his realm and made sure that the vassals that rose up against him would never get a second chance. How could they raise an army that they no longer had? With riches that they no longer made? Or maybe with the influence that was no longer in their grasp? And for once in his eventful life, BouCHAD had peace. It may have been just for a brief time, but it was peace nonetheless. Over his 45 years of life, BouCHAD had been busy, waging wars, gaining land, anything that would grant him more power. But secretly, in the background, BouCHAD was working another scheme, a scheme that would soon come to fruition. By the year 1111, BouCHAD had gained an unseen amount of piety, which had been gained by spamming pilgrimages and rushing the theologian lifestyle tree. With this excessive amount of piety, BouCHAD started work on a new religion, a religion that would upturn the established order. A religion that was a direct contrast to Catholicism. This new religion would give BouCHAD as much power as possible, allowing him to hold temples directly and make himself the head of faith, the new pope. This new view on Christianity held some questionable ideas. Armed pilgrimages and communion were kept, but monasticism was replaced with pursuit of power, just as he had done previously. But marriage was to be polygamous, allowing not just one, but 4 wives. Divorce was always allowed, and there was no such thing as a bastard child. Male adultery was to be accepted, but female adultery was criminal. Witchcraft and kinslaying were accepted and viewed as moral, and clergy members were only male, but they were allowed to marry. This gain came at the cost of their position being revocable, though. What was this new religion? A religion that was so vastly different from BouCHAD's previous religion. This religion was created by a man who was built different. This was the religion of Chadism. Once before I ruled over vast lands and riches, and with that power I created a religion that viewed all as equals, all as righteous. But what did that gain me? Nothing. It gained me nothing. I sacrificed so much for so many, and how did they repay me? By trying to take my land, by shunning my name and defacing my reputation. I was doing a justice to this cruel world, but now I see that reality is not as bright as I hoped. It is full of corruption and wrongdoing, and the only way to defeat that beast is to join it. By becoming the beast myself, I will rid this world of a plague known as religion. I see with blinding sight, and I know what must be done. This earth shall be cleansed once more, and I will be the one to do it. If these stand in my path, prepare to be struck down by my sword. You cannot hold me, you cannot bind me, for I am more than just a man. I am an idea. I am the spark that lights the eternal flame, the flame that will oppose the tyranny and fascism of this world. You may see me as a hypocrite, but you are blind. I am but the start. I am the reason. People will rise up against their rulers because they have been willed to do so by me. Change is on the horizon. The tide has risen, and I am leading the charge. A new age is upon us, an age that stands against the unjust rule over the common man. This world shall pay for its crimes. BouCHAD revealed something that no one had sensed before. He showed his true self, a self that was full of hypocrisy, but yet he still had a righteous goal. He believed that if he gave a reason for people to rise up, they would see that they had the power to change the world. He thought that if he became a monster, he would create monster hunters, people who opposed corruption and tyranny. Perhaps he was just showing the world how bad it could be, so that they would never fall into that pit of agony and despair. Perhaps BouCHAD was a good man after all. A good man? Yeah, right.